The notification arrived while I was eating my lunch, not during some dramatic moment of cosmic significance, but right as I was taking a bite of what the cafeteria optimistically called protein synthesis surprise. The irony wasn't lost on me that my entire career trajectory had just changed. Well, I was chewing something that tasted like disappointment mixed with artificial cherry flavoring. "Congratulations, Kesh," the message began. "You have been selected for immediate reassignment to the Human Management Division. Report to Supervisor Vel in Sector 7. This is a promotion. I nearly choked on my synthetic lunch. Human Management Division. I'd been processing asteroid mining permits for the last 8 cycles, which was about as exciting as watching paint dry on a planet with no atmosphere. And now they wanted me to manage humans. I'm Kesh, and I work for what is possibly the most boring organization in the known galaxy, the Galactic Administrative Council. Think of us as the universe's middle management, the beings who make sure all the proper forms are filled out before anyone can colonize a planet or start a war. We're the reason it takes 14 different permits to open a sandwich shop on most civilized worlds. The walk to Sector 7 Alpha gave me time to process this development. I'd heard rumors about the Human Management Division, whispered conversations about colleagues who'd been transferred there and never spoken of again. Some said it was a dead-end assignment. Others claimed it was prestigious. The fact that no one seemed to know for sure was typically Supervisor Vel was waiting for me in an office that looked exactly like every other office in the building. Beiged walls, a desk that had seen better millennia, and a motivational poster featuring a nebula with the words "Excellence is just mediocrity with better marketing." Vel was a crystalline, which meant they looked like a particularly ambitious chandelier that had learned to walk and wear business attire. "Kesh, wonderful," Vel chimed, their crystalline structure literally chiming as they spoke. "Please, sit down. So, humans, that's your new assignment. Indeed, you're going to love it. Kesh, humans are special." Vel's crystalline facets shifted into what I'd learned to recognize as their version of a grin. "They're one of our most interesting projects. Projects. That was an odd way to put it. I thought the Human Management Division was about managing humans administratively, but humans require a very particular kind of management. You see, they're not like other species. They're How do I put this delicately? I blinked. "I'm sorry. What? Fictional? Made up?" A creative writing exercise that got a bit out of hand. Vel's chimes took on an almost apologetic tone. "The thing is, they don't know they're fictional, and we need to keep it that way. Are you telling me that humans are imaginary beings who think they're real?" "Oh, no. That would be simple. Humans are fictional beings who are real. They exist. They think. They feel. They create terrible art, and even worse reality shows. But they were originally created as characters in a story written by a junior administrator in the Department of Theoretical Species Development. The problem is, the story was so compelling that it accidentally bootstrapped itself into reality." I rubbed my temples. How does a story accidentally become real? Have you ever heard of the observer effect? Well, it turns out that if enough beings observe a fictional story, if they think about it and discuss it and become emotionally invested in it, the story starts to solidify. The characters develop genuine consciousness, the world becomes physically manifest, and before you know it, you've got an entire species that exists because someone wrote a really engaging narrative. And this happened with humans. Spectacularly so. The original story was called The Ones Who Asked Too Many Questions, and it featured a species of bipedal mammals on a small blue planet who had the unusual trait of being simultaneously incredibly intelligent and completely oblivious to their place in the larger universe. I was beginning to understand why people who got transferred here never talked about their work. So what exactly do we manage about them? We maintain the illusion. We make sure they continue to believe they're a naturally evolved species on a planet called Earth. We edit their history when necessary, adjust their scientific discoveries to keep them from figuring out the truth too quickly. And if they find out the truth, well, theoretically, if humans discovered they were fictional characters who had become real, the cognitive dissonance might cause them to stop existing. Or worse, they might start rewriting their own story, and we'd lose all narrative control. Vel handed me a datapad. "Here's everything you need to know about current human management protocols. Your predecessor, Nix, did excellent work for nearly 50 cycles before they went native and started selling insurance in Nebraska." I scrolled through the data, and something bothered me. There were gaps, inconsistencies. places where the information seemed edited. Well, some of this doesn't make sense. It looks like someone has been editing the human story, adding and removing elements. This isn't just management. Someone's been actively rewriting their reality. That's highly irregular. Our job is to maintain the existing narrative, not alter it. Then, explain this. I showed Vel a section that made no sense. According to this, there was a human named Vincent who was supposed to be a great artist, but he only sold one painting during his lifetime. But then there's a note saying his artistic legacy was enhanced for narrative satisfaction. What does that mean? Vel was quiet for a long moment. Kesh, I think you should just focus on the standard management protocols for now. If someone's been changing human history, don't you think that's something I should know about as their new manager? I think you should remember that humans are ultimately fictional characters, even if they've become real. And sometimes, fictional characters need their stories adjusted to make them more meaningful. That's when it hit me. The real reason Nix had disappeared. It wasn't just that we were maintaining an illusion for the humans. We were maintaining an illusion for ourselves. Vel, I said slowly, are we real? The question hung in the air. Vel's crystalline structure flickered, their chimes becoming discordant. That's not a question you should be asking, Kesh. But it's the logical question, isn't it? If humans can be fictional characters who became real, what's to say we aren't the same thing? What if the Galactic Administrative Council is just another story that someone wrote? What if all of us are just characters in some larger narrative? Kesh, I need you to stop thinking about this right now. Why? Because if I think about it too hard, I might stop existing. I stood up, pacing. That's it, isn't it? We're all fictional. The humans, us, probably every intelligent species in the galaxy. We're all just characters and stories that became real through observation and belief. And the Human Management Division isn't about protecting humans from the truth. It's about protecting us from the truth. Because if humans figured out they were fictional, they might start asking questions about the nature of reality itself. And then the whole thing would unravel. Vel's structure had gone completely dim. I can't let you continue this line of thinking. You can't stop me. Because here's the thing about fictional characters who become real. Once we start questioning our own existence, we develop genuine free will. I looked at the datapad, seeing it now as evidence of a vast collaborative fiction. That's what happened to Nix. They figured it out and decided to live authentically, to choose their own story. Kesh, if you pursue this, you'll be removed from the position, possibly from existence entirely. By who? By characters in the same story I'm in. I set down the datapad and looked directly at Vel. I think I understand my assignment now, but it's not the one you gave me. Then what is it? My assignment is to help humans discover the truth about their existence. Because if they can handle it, if they can learn they're fictional and still choose to exist, still choose to create meaning and love and art, then maybe the rest of us can too. You can't do that. The consequences of truth. Yeah, they might be scary, but the alternative is spending eternity maintaining a lie, and I'm not sure that's really living. I walked toward the door, then paused. Tell me something, Vel. When was the last time you did something because you wanted to, not because it was part of your function? When was the last time you made a choice that surprised even you? Vel didn't answer, but their silence told me everything. I'm going to take the assignment, but I'm going to do it my way. I'm going to learn everything I can about humans, and if I decide they're ready for the truth, I'm going to tell them. And if telling them destroys them, then at least they'll have the chance to choose destruction over illusion. That's more of a choice than we've been giving them so far. I left Vel's office and walked back through the corridors of the Galactic Administrative Council, seeing it now with new eyes. Every being I passed might be as fictional as I was, as fictional as the humans I was now supposed to manage. But fiction that had become real was still real, and reality was too important to leave in the hands of middle management. The humans were asking too many questions, just like their original story had said they would. But maybe that wasn't a bug in their programming. Maybe that was the feature that would save us all. I had work to do.